If you were renting a house in Lagos, please do it during rainy season. 20-minute trip could take you 3 hours. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Elizabeth Uya. I'm a YouTuber based in Lagos State, Nigeria. To all my old subscribers, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for your support. I don't take you for granted. Thank you so much. Then, if you're seeing this face for the very first time, well, what are you waiting for? Just click on the subscribe button, like, comment, and thank you so much. So we get to meet and know each other very well. Traffic. So coming from somebody that I grew up in a very quiet state, that if I have an appointment by 9 a.m. and I by 8:30 a.m. I am preparing, and then I leave my house say 8:45, I will still be early. I will still arrive the venue of my appointment on time without getting late. But for and it's crazy, right? But when you come into Lagos, a 20 minute a 20-minute trip could take you 3 hours. So the one thing you should prepare your mind before moving into Lagos is traffic. Would you be able to survive in this traffic? Because it could actually make you depressed, sad. You wouldn't want to hear about it because you could stay in traffic for the longest of time and you'll be like, oh my God, is this how are people surviving in this state? I had a friend coming from Cross River State, that's Calabar, and she said to me, Liz, how are you coping? How are you surviving? How have you not ran mad by this time up till now? I said, my sister, how so sure are you that I haven't run mad already? Because the traffic here is crazy. So I always tell people, if you want to relocate to Lagos, first thing first, just visit Lagos for at least a week or two and see if you can survive the traffic, because the traffic is crazy. In fact, the traffic is trafficking, if there's any word like that. But because so many people want to move into Lagos and then you're like, Lagos is this, Lagos is that, you know. So maybe if someone had told me most of those things about Lagos and then emphasized on it, maybe I wouldn't have moved into Lagos State, because the traffic in Lagos, and every day it gets worse and worse. The traffic in Lagos is crazy. So if you're planning to move into Lagos, I would simply advise you come into Lagos maybe for a week or two and see if you can survive this traffic, because it is crazy, very crazy. So traffic is one of the greatest challenge Lagos State has, that you can stay in traffic for 5 hours. The first day I came to Lagos from the airport to, I think I was going to Lekki, what do we call that place, Chevron. I From the airport to Chevron, I spent 6 hours on the road. Yes, you heard me right. 6 good hours on the road. I got tired. I slept off. I woke up. It was actually frustrating. So I was like, oh my God, is this what people are passing through? And okay, I was like, oh, maybe some days could be good. It can be every day. My brother and my sister, it is every day. There is no Christmas in Lagos State. There is no day without traffic. And the most annoying part of this traffic in Lagos is that nothing is causing it. Normally we all understand that traffic, normally when you see traffic, maybe a car fell down, there was an accident that happened in front and they're trying to clear, and that's what's causing the traffic. That's the painful part of it. Because you will move, boom, and you're going like, what's causing this kind of traffic? There is nothing, absolutely nothing causing the traffic. So it's that bad. So you have to put that into consideration before coming to Lagos. And it's very serious, so really serious, because so many people fall into depression, so many people become sick, it becomes so sad. They said, yeah, I'm gonna cope, I'll get used to it. Yes, I've been in Lagos for 3 years plus by God's grace, and I've not gotten used to the traffic in Lagos. So you will want to put that into consideration. This part is very important. So most time people say, I have a friend that stays in Lagos and I want to come stay with her or him for a period of time. And after that, maybe I will get a place on my own. If you're coming to Lagos, I beg you and I beg you, have a purpose of coming to Lagos. If you haven't gotten a job in Lagos, maybe don't come to Lagos because you'll be stranded. I'm talking out of experience and I have seen it with my two eyes. So I beg you and I beg you, please and please, if you are coming to Lagos for a job interview, you come for a job interview, after your interview, please, if you stayed in a hotel, if someone squatted you, just after the interview, go back to your house, go back to where you're coming from. And then, if you get the job and you're given your appointment later to start a job, obviously they give you 2 weeks. That 2 weeks, you can tell the person, oh, I got a job, blah, 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 blah. Give me 2 weeks and start looking for your house and move out. You must be, if you cannot do this, please don't come to Lagos unless you have a family in Lagos. Your sister stays in Lagos, your brother stays in Lagos, your relative stays in Lagos. Without that, I beg of you, do not come to Lagos and say, I have a friend that will help me. Yes, sometimes you could have that very good friend, but not all the time. So I am begging, like I am begging you, because at the end of the day, you see people being stranded. I just came to Lagos to hustle. There is nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with that. But if you decide I want to relocate to Lagos, please and please think about how you're going to pay your rent. Think about how you're going to get your own house within a month or two at most. Because most people you claim are your friend will want to accommodate you for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years for you to get your own house. So don't get stranded at the end of the day. You didn't do a bad thing trying to relocate to Lagos State, but don't come and suffer. It is not worth it. Life already is hard. Don't come and suffer, because when you suffer, you'll be like, let me have a story to tell. You must not always tell your children a sad story. You can tell your children how you came to Lagos, how it was interesting. You can always, there are other sides to a story. It must not be everybody. When I came to Lagos, I went through hell, I went through that, I passed through this, I suffered, I slept on the third mainland bridge, I did this. Don't let your story end up like that. Please and please. First of all, when you want to relocate to Lagos, you have to think about the rent, because rent in Lagos is very, very expensive. I'm still using my state as an example. Okay, let me even use Port Harcourt. I think when I was 7 in Port Harcourt, that was around 2018, 2019. My house rent was around about 200,000 naira for a self-contained with kitchen, bathroom, everything inside. That's what we call a self-contained. It's about 200,000 naira. Very beautiful, very spacious. But my darling, you cannot underline that word. You cannot underline that word again. You literally cannot get a house like that in Lagos for that amount. You heard me right. You can't. It's impossible. I don't know where you're going to get it, but you will not get it. You know, there are two sides to Lagos State, right? We have the island, we have the mainland. First of all, what's bringing you to Lagos? Is it work? Is your company located at the mainland or the island? So that would determine where you're going to stay. So let me say you're staying on the island, because I stay on the island. You're staying on the island, and they are like, people say I'm saying Lekki phase 1, Lekki phase 2, Lekki phase 3, Lekki phase 4. all those phase 4, 5, 6 you're hearing, those are almost out of Lagos. In fact, very soon they'll soon be leaving Lagos State to what's that state after Lagos? So it's quite funny, right? So you have to put that into consideration. Rent. Rent in Lagos is very, very expensive. This is 2023. Rent right now is self-contained in Lagos will cost you nothing. Like the cheapest is like 1 million naira. So you have to put this into consideration when moving to Lagos. Yes, you have to think about this when moving to Lagos State. It's crazy. Like the level of crazy, you'll be like, ah, who sent me? Who sent me? Yes, because it has to be worth it. It has to be worth it. So you can't just carry your bag and say, I want to go and stay with somebody for a year. Unless you guys have an agreement, okay, I'll stay with you, then we split your rent. Perfect. But without that, please and please avoid relocating to Lagos to start a life, to start a career without this thing in your list. Because at the end of the day, you'll be so stranded. And when you're stranded, you're frustrated. When you're frustrated, life could be very miserable. So I am advising that if for any reason or any purpose you want to come to Lagos, you should look at this. Out of this, my video, you're not listening to anything I'm saying, but please, I'm begging you, listen to this part. If you were renting a house in Lagos, please do it during rainy season. No. Do it during rainy. If not, water will carry you to where you don't know. Did they carry you go where you don't know? Water will carry you away. Water will carry you away because the greatest problem Lagos State, especially the island, has is water. Most times when it rains, your house becomes River Niger. Your area becomes River Niger that you need speedboat or canoe to go out. So I always advise people, for me, I cannot start looking for a house during dry season. No, no, dude, no, no, no. I can't even try that because you will suffer it. So if you are looking for a house anywhere, do it when it is raining. In fact, you can even go there. Maybe you see the house the first time. One day that it's raining very heavily. You just order a ride. Go in and check. See how the area looks when it rains. See how the house looks when it rains. Is it leaking? Is the walls leaking? The walls leaking. Look at all those things. The compound itself, how does it look like? So you have to check all these things. If not, if you just pay your money before you collect it, hey, otilo. Yoruba people say otilo, otilo. So that is very important. Look for a house when during rainy season. Don't look for a house when everywhere is completely dry. Everywhere is beautiful. Everywhere is beautiful. I had terrible experience when I was looking for a house, and thank God it was during rainy season. So there was this very beautiful house I almost paid for. So I checked for the house. I saw this house was so beautiful. I was even telling my friends, that I've seen my final dream house. So I was like, it was raining for 2 days. The third day, and I'm like, let me go and check out this house. Like the Uber I took there could not pass. I said, madam, I can't enter this street. So the water was terrible. The water was very tall. I was like, okay, your car. He ended a trip there, and I paid him money, and I left. I now went into the house. You needed to see the walls of this house for 3 days rain. I was like, wow. So I would have quietly paid for a house and then I will end up be suffering this. Literally, water was coming out from the walls. I'm not exaggerating this thing. Water was coming out from the walls. And another thing, ask question. Don't like ask question. You don't go to an area and start like ugh. Hi ma, good morning. Oh, I want to move into this area. How is this area? You need to ask what's the security level in this. You ask questions. So when I got to ask question, and luckily, I was speaking my dialect. That's I was speaking Akwa Ibom, and so somebody, the security overheard me and came to me. Mama, he spoke my dialect. He spoke my mother's language. He said, my mama. He said, Mama, don't collect this room. Oh. The lady that paid for this room, 3 months later, she packed out, and they have still not given her money. And now the house is up. This room is terrible. So please ask questions. Don't say I was calm, because most times we put ourselves in tight corners. So always ask questions. If is live close to your office. Yes, because at the end of the day, if you're living far from your office, you will suffer it. As I said, the traffic is crazy, very crazy. You can't survive in Lagos with all these things. Take for instance now, I know someone that stays at if you're in Lagos, you know most of these places I'm going to mention. Take for instance now, you work at Lekki Phase One and you stay at Awuyaya. You can go and stay at Awuyaya because the house rent is a little bit fair. You can get a house rent lesser than 1 million naira, and then this is how your life is going to look like. Let me just explain it to you now. This is how your life is going to look like, because number one, you wake up by say 3 a.m. or 3:30, and then you prepare. You must leave your house by 4 a.m. and then you get to Lekki Phase One. You leave your house by 4 a.m. You get to Lekki Phase One almost by 8. That's the day the traffic is a little bit not angry. You get to the office by 8. You close from work. Let's say you close from work by 5 p.m. And then some days are very difficult for you to even get bus ride to go home. You struggle. At the end of the day, you finally get a bus maybe by 6:37. To get back to that place, you will at most get there by 11 p.m. From 6:30 to 11 p.m. Some days 12, some days 1. So that is how your life is going to look like. So it's some people like, you're living close to work. They're paying you how much, and you're paying this amount for rent. But if you calculate the money you spend on transportation from say Awuyaya to Lekki Phase One every day, you will realize that the person staying closer, you guys are on the same page. Yes, you guys are literally on the same page. It's just that you say, you want to. No, not at all. It's the same thing. So it's not about comfort, it's not about showing off, it's not about anything. Number one, staying that far is gonna affect you. It's gonna affect your work, it's gonna affect your mental health, it's gonna affect a whole lot of things. But if you're very lucky that your work is a virtual work, that you work from home and you go to work once in a while, beautiful. You can literally stay as far as you want to, because it's just once in a month or twice in a month. That's no problem. So please and please, you have to look at all these things before you think of moving into Lagos State, because without this, you'll be like, nobody told me, and I moved into Lagos State. You can always tell your children beautiful stories. It must not be, 2023, when I relocated to Lagos State, I went through hell. I suffered. I was drinking Gary. I was squatting with a friend, and the person threw me out. The place I was living was very far from my work. I spent 8 hours in traffic before getting to work. I almost died. It's not you people you are enjoying. You could always not tell the stories. You could always sometimes just soft life. Like me, obviously everybody knows I love soft life. Like, I relocated to Lagos State, and then I stayed in a hotel. I got a job in Lagos State. I stayed in a hotel for about 3 weeks, and then I was searching for a house, and I got a house in Lagos. and it's so interesting. And then I got a very beautiful house in Lekki, and my office was just 30 minutes, 20 minutes to walk. When I wake up in the morning, I order my ride. My Uber will just be outside waiting for me, and then I'll jump into my ride. I'll go to work. When I close from work, the same thing I get and do. Your life is beautiful. So let's just avoid telling this sad story, because in as much as everybody wants to hustle, everybody wants to come to Lagos State. Everybody, Lagos is a land for a hustler. Lagos is a place you can get anything you want. Lagos is a beautiful state, but I would always say, let's avoid these sad stories, because at the end of the day, it's really, 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 really sad that you see people. I was talking to somebody the other day, and the story really touched me, and I said to myself, I need to put this out there for people to know that coming to Lagos, you need to plan. Don't just come to Lagos. If you have a family member that stays in Lagos, that's a different ball game. They can accommodate you for as long as possible, because they are your family, your blood. But even for some family member, it's not as it's not like, it's not, from some family member, even worse than friends. So to be on the safe side, I beg you and I beg you, please, please and please, do not move into Lagos without this consideration. We don't move into Lagos without you putting all these things in place, without you looking at the traffic, number one, looking at the rent, looking at all those little things that I mentioned. It's not like coming to Lagos at first, it has to be easy. But people move into this Lagos very easily. I have a friend that moved into Lagos. When she came, she stayed in a hotel, and then got a house of her own, decorated it, moved in, and life is simple. So you don't need to suffer before you make it. You can actually make it without suffering. So put this thing, if those things, you ask yourself this question: do I have the capacity? Would I want to pay 1.5 million, 2 million for a small room in Lagos State? Would I want to do that? And if the answer is no, please avoid Lagos. Because, or if you say, oh, okay, I have a friend in Lagos, we're going to live together, split the bills, fine, that's okay. But at the end of the day, it still remains, think about these things first, and then come to a conclusion before you move. You pack your bags and move to Lagos for whatsoever reason. So that is the honest truth. Don't let anyone deceive you, guys. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned one or two things from this video.